Okay, so today was kind of a good news, bad news, but mostly good news type thing. So let's talk about the bad. Number one, the first video I recorded was completely out of focus, so I don't have any footage that I can use from that. The second video I recorded, my mic was off for basically 75% of it, so I can't use that. Number three, I was distracted during our small group teaching, not just with the quality of our conversation, but the wildlife that was roaming by the window. So I didn't get any video of that. So I failed successfully, if you can call it that, at producing any content from Simeon Trust, except for the video that I'm doing right now. I have triple checked to make sure that the microphone is on. I am at home, so I'm in the basement. I cannot be distracted by anything unless the dogs make their way down here, which I'm sure they will momentarily. But let me catch you up on everything that we did today, because I wanted to make everyone aware of what we talked about. Again, I'm trying to create more buzz around the Simeon Trust event, because a lot of the people that attend the Simeon Trust, it's the same every year. And the circle in our area of people that attend is small, but it's such a valuable resource. Number one, the event is fantastic. Old North Church always does an amazing time of hosting it. They take great care of everyone in attendance, not just because the food that they provide is really good, but they put out snacks and drinks and coffee, and they also make sure to bring in solid speakers. So they do a great job. Kudos, Old North. It's very similar to the Basics Conference. The Basics Conference at Alistair's church. They go above and beyond to take care of the people that are in attendance, and Old North does very similar, just on their smaller scale. They do a great job. I hope they continue to host it. Number two, it's so much fun to see people that I haven't seen in a long time. I've met a bunch of guys through this event, and I love being able to interact with them, and I love being able to sit around the table and talk about theology and scripture with them. It's good to be encouraged by them. It's also good to see other brothers in the community that are laboring for the gospel. It's good for two reasons. One, I enjoy the conversation I get to have with them, and then two, I enjoy seeing them try to sharpen their skills in order to better serve our area, because we drastically need that in our area. And then number three, the event is great because it allows me to approach scripture and be reminded that regardless of how our mechanics are, and regardless of how many hours we spend in the study, if we are not spending time with God, it is all in vain. And I know that might sound weird to say, but here's why I say that. For people, and I say people because I know that this happens to a lot of people involved in theology and teaching and things like that. For people like myself, it is really easy to, when you have a text or an idea, or even with the shows that I do, it's really easy to approach that idea in a manner of, what can I say that will impact the people that I'm trying to impact? I'll study for hours. I read commentaries, take notes, ask other people. I do all these things, and two things happen. One, I don't even pray about what I am trying to say. And then number two, I don't take any of those things and apply it to my own heart, because I get so focused on who needs to hear this and how I can take what I am learning and apply it to my audience or the platform that God has given me. So it's nice to come to one of these events, and because a lot of times when you go to a conference, you're just receiving so much, so it's real easy to just be an observer. But with the Simeon Trust, it's entirely different, because it's a workshop. They give you homework. You have to be engaged during the small group. So it presses you in, and it forces you to really evaluate how you are coming to the text. Are you the disciplines and the techniques and the mechanics and things like that we learned during this event? You are forced to take those things and apply them to your life and really evaluate, like, okay, am I doing this? And especially when every one of the instructors or speakers or whatever gives the same sort of format, like, listen, like, if you're not spending time in intentional prayer over your text, or if you're not laboring for hours just with scripture outside of commentaries and resources and things like that, you have to take those things and apply them to your life. The Simeon Trust event is unlike anything else. I've been to 3 now. It is unlike anything else because of the roller coaster that you go on. So the first one that I went to, we went through 1 Timothy. Not that I am a genius of 1 Timothy by any comparison to other people. However, with these other two that I've gone to, I feel like 1 Timothy is a book that I know pretty well. Then the second one was Judges. And Judges, this event number 2, it just sort of blew up my world. There are numerous books on my shelf right over here that I purchased specifically because of the recommendations that I received from that Simeon Trust event. And it made me realize how inadequate I actually am with handling the scriptures, i.e. the Old Testament, biblical theology at large. So it really was very humbling. It was humbling because maybe there are times that it creeps into my head because I sit in front of all these books and I think like they're just going to like magically absorb into my mind. It humbles me because I can sit around the table with other guys who have studied books like this and they've put the labor into it, and it's nice to see the fruit of their hard work from where they are, and then seeing myself as being a younger guy, because there's at these events there more commonly are older guys, but there are a group of us younger guys that go. So it's nice for us to see and to be humbled almost, because it's easy to approach the table and think I've got it figured out, I'm gonna knock it out of the park, and then you have an event like Judges and it just humbles you, it just blows you up. So that was number 2. And then number 3, this time we have Mark's Gospel. Already it has been very encouraging to me, recognizing the importance of laboring over the text week in and week out. And the mechanics and everything like that are designed for expository preaching. However, the workshops are not exclusively for pastors. If you are in any position to teach or to lead a Bible study, or if you are a pastor and you're watching this and you teach exclusively on Sunday mornings, this event is for you, because the things that you learn from it need to be applied to anyone who is teaching the scriptures, not just the lead pastor on Sunday mornings. I would encourage you, no matter where you are and no matter what your teaching role would be, if you can get to a Simeon Trust event, please do. I can't express how much these events have shaped me. I actually have looked at the course of my life, or I shouldn't say my life, I'm sorry. The course of my walk with Christ and my life of being a follower of Christ, I have marked it at the Simeon Trust events. That's how much of an impact they've had on me. I've been to Together for the Gospel twice. I've gone to Basics 4 or 5 times. I've been to, what else have I gone to? I've been to conferences. I've been to enough to know, to make evaluations on them. Simeon Trust stands alone, honestly, because these events have the most impact on me. I've been impacted by the sermons I've heard in Louisville and at Basics and just the fellowship and all those things that go into it. However, my soul and my style of preaching, my hard work in the study, that has all been shaped specifically by the stuff I've learned at Simeon Trust. It's in a league of its own. So that's update on day number 1. Mark's Gospel. We're learning about staying on the line, basically not going above what the text says, not going below what the text says, making sure we are committed to what the scriptures say. You think it's such a, I use this term a lot. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's funny that it's just such like, oh my gosh, stay in line with the scripture. It sounds like it's such a simple truth, but the reality of what is going on in American preaching is that we are far from staying on the line of preaching. We are far from staying on the line of what the Word says. We want to bring our presuppositions to the Scriptures, or we want to water down the text. We want to skip over parts of the text. We don't want to be faithful to what the Scriptures are saying. Tomorrow is day 2. I actually am presenting the first section of Scripture that I was assigned. I have Mark chapter 8, so that'll be tomorrow in the afternoon. I am going to try to speak with a couple of the guys tomorrow to get a little bit of their feedback and learn a little bit more about what is their draw to the Simeon Trust and what they have broadened out of the Simeon Trust, how many times they've been, and just some things like that. I identified a couple of guys that were interested in talking about that. So hopefully tomorrow the microphone is on, number 1. Number 2, I get focused a little bit there. I'm a tinkerer with my equipment, and so last night I spent like an hour, 2 hours, I don't know, too much time reading about the settings on my camera, and I believe that I overset. I don't know what the term would be, but I messed it up somehow. Either way, tomorrow's going to be a better day. Regardless, if you want to learn more about the Simeon Trust, please contact me. I would love to talk to you one-on-one about it. I would love to explain a little bit more about what the workshops look like, because I know it might sound like, well, I don't want to do homework. That sounds intimidating. It's not that way at all. It's so encouraging, and really it is a benefit for your soul. If you want to learn more about it, please contact me. I would love to talk more with you about it. And then another reminder, this Friday night, episode 21, we are going to talk about biblical resources that you can use that are free, that are online, that are available to everyone in order for you to increase your knowledge of Christ and to grow in your maturity of the Scriptures, so you can go and help others grow in their maturity of the Scriptures. Questions, comments, anything, theologynights.com, youtube.com/theologynights, and facebook.com/theologynights. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.